Have you ever walked into a room and felt like someone was trying to shrink you with just a glance? They don't need to say much, just a tone, a smirk, or silence sharp enough to cut through your confidence. It's subtle, but it stings. They want you to feel like you're too much, or not enough. They want your light to flicker, your voice to tremble, your presence to feel like a burden. But here's the truth most people miss. Small people don't try to make others feel small unless they're terrified of being seen. They chip away at your spirit, not because you're weak, but because you threaten the illusion they built around themselves. Think of it like this. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep. And you were never meant to kneel before wolves in sheep's clothing. As the Stoics say, no man is free who is not master of himself. The moment you stop needing their approval, the moment you stop flinching at their games, that's when everything changes. It's like trying to throw shadows at a wall, hoping it breaks. It won't, because light doesn't beg for permission to shine. They may try to control the room, but you control your energy. And that is power. So how do you deal with people who try to make you feel small, without fighting, begging, or dimming your fire? Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you isn't just powerful. It's a quiet revolution. Let's begin. Number 1, when their words cut deep, remember where the knife came from. Ever had someone throw a sarcastic joke your way that didn't feel like a joke at all? Or maybe they rolled their eyes when you spoke, gave backhanded compliments, or acted like everything you did was not that impressive. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Why would they treat me like this? Let me stop you right there, because what you're feeling, it's real. But the reason behind it, it's not what you think. Here's the truth. People who try to make you feel small are usually fighting battles inside themselves. They aren't reacting to you. They're reacting to the mirror you hold up when you show up confident, capable, and clear. It's not your shine that bothers them. It's the fact that your light exposes the shadows they haven't dealt with. Think of it like this. A cracked mirror reflects a broken image. If they can't see their own worth clearly, how can they see yours without twisting it? As the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." That means no snapping back, no over-explaining, no proving, no pleasing, just presence, just power. See, confidence doesn't need to raise its voice. It doesn't fight in the mud, because it knows mud can never stain gold. So when someone tries to drag you down with passive-aggressive remarks or cold dismissals, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Let me tell you a story. There was a man, let's call him James. James was good at what he did. Smart, quiet, focused. But he had a colleague who just wouldn't let him be. Every success James had was brushed off. If James got praise from his boss, the colleague would smirk and say, "Let's see how long that lasts." If James shared an idea in a meeting, the reply would be, interesting, but maybe something more mature next time. At first, it got to him. He questioned himself. Am I not good enough? Am I missing something? But then James saw the pattern, and the truth hit him. This guy wasn't trying to tear him down because he was weak. He was doing it because James was rising, and his success was a silent threat. So James stopped giving him energy. No arguments, no cold stares, no trying to impress. He just focused on growing, improving, and showing up strong every day. And guess what? The more silent James got, the more powerless his colleague became. Because insecure people feed off reactions, you take that away, and they starve. This is where most people go wrong. They try to fight back, to explain, to get the other person to see their worth. But here's the deal. If someone can't see your value, it's not your job to lower yourself for them to understand it. That's like dimming a lighthouse because the ship refused to look up. So what should you do? First, remember, their words are a reflection of their insecurity, not a measure of your worth. Second, don't take the bait. Don't dance in their storm. Stay calm, stay cool, and keep building. And finally, rise. Silently, consistently, unshakably. Let them sit in their shadows while you keep walking toward the light. Because at the end of the day, their insecurity, it's not your weight to carry. Let them drown in doubt. You were made for higher ground. Number 2, when they throw words like stones, be the mountain. There's a quiet kind of strength that very few people have. It's not loud. It doesn't shout back. It simply refuses to be moved. You've been there. Someone mocks you, throws a sarcastic jab, says something sharp, just loud enough to sting, but soft enough to deny later. And your first instinct? Fight back. You want to speak up, correct them, defend yourself. You want to ask, why are you treating me like this? But ask yourself this, what are they really looking for? They're not just testing your patience, they're testing your control. Because the moment you react, the moment you snap or start doubting yourself, they win. That's what they wanted all along. Not truth, not clarity, just power. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." In simple words, it's not what they said that hurts. It's how much you let it matter. Think of it like standing in the rain. You can't stop the drops from falling, but you can choose whether to stand tall or collapse into the mud. Their words, just weather, just noise, just wind trying to shake your roots. But you are the mountain. Let me tell you about David. Smart guy, honest, focused. But he had a co-worker who always had something negative to say. Didn't matter what David did. This guy would twist it, mock it, belittle it. At first, it got under David's skin. He'd replay every insult in his head like a broken record. Why would he say that? What did I ever do to him? But then one day, David stopped and asked himself a better question. Why am I letting him live rent-free in my head? And that's when everything changed. He stopped reacting. When the guy made a snide remark, David just gave a calm smile and kept going. When he was criticized unfairly, he let his results do the talking. No anger, no defense, just unbothered presence. And slowly, the noise faded. Because people like that, they feed off your reactions, starve them, and they lose interest. They can only shake you if you hand them the keys to your peace. So here's the deal. You don't need to fight every word thrown at you. You don't need to prove yourself to someone who's already made up their mind. Let them talk, let them try, but stay rooted, stay grounded. Because your strength isn't in how loud you clap back. It's in how little you need to. They'll throw words like stones. Just don't forget, you were built from something stronger. Let them throw. You stay the mountain. Number 3, When you stop feeding the fire, it dies on its own. Some people walk into your life not to build with you, but to burn you out. They poke, they prod, they whisper behind your back or laugh to your face just to see if they can shake you. And when they do, it's not because they're bold, it's because they're empty. See, people who try to make you feel small are usually trying to feel bigger themselves. And what do they need more than anything? A reaction. That flinch in your eyes, that shift in your tone, that subtle change in your energy. It tells them they've gotten to you. But what happens when you don't flinch? What happens when you meet their noise with silence, their fire with stillness, their games with indifference? They lose every single time. Because nothing breaks the spirit of someone who wants to control you more than realizing they can't. That's where your real strength lies, not in what you say, but in what you don't. You don't chase, you don't explain, you don't play the game. You simply stop caring about their opinion like you'd stop caring about a barking dog behind a locked fence. Loud, but harmless. Seneca once said, "Silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings." And he was right. You don't become indifferent overnight. It's something you earn after being burned enough times to know that not every fire deserves your warmth. Not every insult is worth your reply. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk past the storm without looking up. Take Alex, for example. He had a co-worker who constantly tried to tear him down. Every meeting came with an eye roll, every idea with sarcasm, every success with a snide remark. At first, Alex wanted to clap back, to defend himself. But then he realized, why pour energy into a bucket with no bottom? So he chose silence. He gave no reaction, no emotion, nothing. And slowly, the attacks lost their bite. The power drained out of every insult like air leaking from a balloon. Because when there's no audience, the show ends. And maybe you're thinking, but if I don't defend myself, won't they think I'm weak? Won't people believe them? Number. That's the trap. The moment you start dancing to prove your worth, you've already let them lead. True confidence doesn't need applause. It's quiet. It's solid. It doesn't answer to nonsense. Indifference is not weakness. It's control. It's power. It's the calm stare of someone who knows exactly who they are and refuses to explain it to someone who never deserved the explanation in the first place. So, when they try again, because they will, don't meet them in the dirt. Don't break your peace to fix their ego. Let them swing at the wind. Let them scream into the void. Let them waste their time. Because when you stop feeding the fire, it dies on its own. Number 4. Let your silence make the loudest statement. There comes a moment when you realize that words, no matter how sharp or clever, will never be enough to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding you. When someone underestimates you, mocks your dreams, or tries to make you feel small, your first instinct might be to argue, to defend yourself, to explain who you are and why they're wrong. But that's exactly what they want. Your energy, your attention, your reaction. What if you gave them none of it? What if, instead of replying, you built? Instead of explaining, you created? Instead of lowering yourself to their level, you simply outgrew their reach. That's the kind of power they can't touch. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That means stop talking, start doing. Let your life become the answer. Let your growth be the thunderclap that silences the noise. Because the truth is, every step forward is an unspoken rebellion against those who tried to hold you back. Think of it like planting a seed in silence. No one notices. No one believes anything is happening. But below the surface, roots are growing. Deep, steady, powerful. And one day, the tree rises. Stronger than doubt. Taller than criticism. And when that moment comes, no one remembers the laughter. They only see the results. Daniel knows that feeling. Everyone around him doubted him, told him he didn't have what it takes, laughed at his goals, treated him like he was dreaming too big for someone like him. At first, he wanted to fight back, prove himself with words. But he didn't. He chose something stronger, silence and action. He disappeared into his work, built his craft in the dark, and ignored the noise. And when he rose so far they had no choice but to watch in awe. Their mockery turned into curiosity. Their doubt turned into envy. Maybe you're asking yourself, but what if they never see what I'm building? What if they never admit they were wrong? Good. Let them choke on their silence. Let your life become the thing they never saw coming. The point isn't to make them clap. The point is to rise so high that their opinion stops mattering altogether. The best revenge? Not payback. Not proving a point with words. It's becoming undeniable. So when someone tries to shrink you with their voice, grow so much they disappear in your shadow. When they try to plant doubt in your mind, build so quietly that by the time they realize your strength, it's already too late. At the end of the day, you owe no one an explanation. You are not here to be understood by the small-minded. You are here to rise, to build, to become. So keep going, keep building, keep growing, and let your silence say everything they were never ready to hear. Number 5. If the door keeps slamming, it's time to build a wall. There comes a time when protecting your peace becomes more important than keeping certain people around. And that moment often shows up quietly, like when someone makes a joke at your expense for the 10th time, and you laugh along, even though something inside you tightens. Or when you share your dream, and they roll their eyes or say, "That's nice, for you." You brush it off. You try to be the bigger person. You tell yourself they probably didn't mean it that way. But deep down, you know what it is. It's disrespect. And the more you let it slide, the more power you hand over. Here's the truth. People will keep crossing lines you never draw. Some people feed on making others feel small because that's the only way they know how to feel tall. They'll test you, slowly at first. Dismiss a win here, ignore your boundaries there. Talk over you just enough for it to sting but not explode. And if you don't speak up, they take that as permission. Stoic wisdom reminds us exactly why this matters. Epictetus said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. If you keep craving approval from people who belittle you, you give them control over your confidence. And if you keep tolerating disrespect to avoid conflict, you trade your peace for their comfort." Sarah did that for years. Every time she talked about her goals, her so-called friend would respond with a smirk, saying things like, "Oh, that's cute," or "Good for you, I guess." At first, Sarah laughed it off. She thought maybe she was just being too sensitive. But time revealed something clearer. This wasn't friendship. It was someone who felt better by making her feel worse. One day, Sarah stopped playing along. She stopped sharing her victories with someone who didn't know how to celebrate them. She stopped explaining her worth. And most importantly, she walked away, quietly, cleanly, with no drama, just distance. And in that distance, she found peace again. You might be thinking, but what if I lose people I've known for years? What if setting boundaries makes me look cold or selfish? It doesn't. It makes you free. Because real connection doesn't need you to shrink. It doesn't mock your progress. It supports it. And anyone who can't respect your growth doesn't deserve a front row seat in your life. You don't owe anyone endless access to your energy. Not just because they've been around. Not because you go way back. History doesn't excuse harm. You don't need to explain yourself to someone who refuses to listen. A boundary doesn't need permission. It only needs clarity. And you're allowed to walk away, fully, finally, and without guilt. At the end of the day, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. So stop tolerating smallness in the name of peace, because every time you protect your energy, you reclaim your power. And once you do, no one can take it from you again. Number 6. When they doubt you, thank them for the fire. There's something powerful about being underestimated. When someone mocks your ambition, laughs at your ideas, or casually tells you to be realistic, they think they're clipping your wings. But what they don't realize is, every word they throw is fuel. Every doubt is dry wood. Every insult, a matchstick. And if you know how to use it, that fire won't burn you. It'll launch you. Weak minds let criticism crush them. They carry it like a weight. But the strong, they turn it into momentum. They let it push them forward, not pull them down. You might ask, but how can I stay motivated when it feels like the world is against me? How do I stay focused when the people I care about are the ones who don't believe in me? That's the test, and that's where your transformation begins. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor strengthens the body." Every insult is a mental rep. Every rejection is resistance training for your soul. The more you face, the stronger you get. It's no different from lifting weights. You don't get stronger by avoiding the pain. You get stronger by pushing through it. Let me tell you about Jake. When he told his family he wanted to start his own business, they laughed. "You? A business owner? Good luck with that." When he shared his goals with friends, they rolled their eyes. "You should be more realistic." He could have listened. He could have shrunk. But instead, Jake made a quiet promise to himself. Use every word they say as fuel. He didn't argue. He didn't beg for support. He worked. Late nights, early mornings, one step at a time. And slowly, the same people who laughed at him started asking for advice. The same voices that once mocked him fell silent. Maybe right now, someone in your life is doubting you. Maybe they've already said, "You'll never make it." Good. Let them say it louder. Because nothing is more satisfying than turning their doubt into your discipline. You don't need revenge. You don't need to convince them. Let your success do all the talking. Let your growth be the clapback. Let your peace be your proof. When they say, "You can't," what they really mean is, "I couldn't." So the next time someone throws shade at your dreams, don't waste time feeling small. Just nod, smile, and think, "Thank you for the fire. I was just getting started." You don't rise by proving them wrong. You rise by staying so focused they become irrelevant. And when you finally get there, and you will, don't say a word. Just let them watch you burn brighter than they ever thought possible. Number 7, you can't soar. Surrounded by cages. Your circle is your ecosystem. And just like a plant can't thrive in poisoned soil, You can't grow around people who secretly hope you stay small. Some people won't insult you outright. They'll do it in quiet, careful ways. They'll question your dreams with a smile, plant seeds of doubt with a whisper, and act concerned when you start shining. You won't always catch it immediately, but you'll feel it. Your energy will drain, your confidence will flicker, and you'll start second-guessing yourself, wondering if maybe they're right. But here's the truth. It's not your job to prove your worth to people who refuse to see it. It's your job to walk away and find those who already do. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you, not tolerate you, not envy you, improve you, push you, uplift you." Your environment either feeds your fire or smothers it, and over time, that influence becomes your mindset. So if you're always surrounded by people who dim your light, don't be surprised when your vision gets darker too. Emily learned that the hard way. She had big dreams, but small-minded friends. Anytime she shared an idea, they'd say, "That sounds risky," or "Are you sure you're ready for that?" They didn't shout her down, but they whispered enough fear to keep her stuck. Until one day, she changed her circle. She found people who spoke life into her, who challenged her limits, and who reminded her of her strength. And just like that, everything changed. So ask yourself right now, who's in your ear? Who's in your space? Who's helping you rise? And who's making you question your wings? Because if you're trying to fly, but your circle is full of cages, you're going nowhere. Choose better. Choose people who clap for you when you're not in the room, who see your growth and don't feel threatened, but inspired, who speak to the strongest parts of you, not the weakest. You are not meant to shrink to fit. You are meant to expand. So start today. Audit your circle. Upgrade your environment. Because the right people won't just support you, they'll launch you. And once you find that kind of energy, you'll wonder why you ever settled for less. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.